So how's it going? How are you doing? I'm so excited to have you here.
I know, I'm so excited. We've been planning this for a
really long time. And I see you're so busy. You've been going to Karachi, you've been doing videos. So I can imagine how difficult it must be for you.
Yeah, New Year's was insane for me, and I think since then I've just been busy.
Yeah. So what kept you busy? Weddings, work, or
work mostly? No party. I don't think I've partied a lot, except for weddings, which I consider work. Especially shadi season when you have to dress up every night. But no, mostly it was work. I launched my own brand, and
tell us something about that. I was so excited. I was in Malaysia when you launched, and I was looking at all the stories and was like, God, this is so incredible that she's been doing.
Basically, it all started because so I personally because I style myself, I find it really hard to find like good modest western clothes, and by modest I mean like stuff that's really pretty for me, but it doesn't like check the mark, because most of the stuff you get in stores, like they won't have a lining, or like they'll be too short, or maybe they won't have sleeves, but they're really pretty, so you're gonna have to like wear a coat or that or something. And I was like so done with it. I'm like, why do I have to keep like compromising and like trying to make it work? So I started making my own clothes, and my followers would keep on asking, oh, where did you get this from? We really want it. So I was like, I make it. So it started from that, and then they were like, you should start selling it. So I was like, I don't know. And then finally I was like, let's do it. So I launched my brand on New Year. So it's all about like modest western wear. I'm actually wearing my own brand right now.
This is so cool. You know, when you walked in, I was looking at your cake video, and I was like, wow,
Thank you.
Such a wonderful.
Yeah, even the brands are mine.
Oh wow, this is lovely. What material is it?
This is like the pure left pants material that you get.
I think your tailor does a really good job.
Thank you.
He does justice to the western wear, because usually if you go buy western wear that's usually stitched hair, it's not. It doesn't give you the right feel. The crotch is either too tight, or it has folds, it has bumpy area. So I don't know. But this is really.
I'm really happy with how it turned out. So that's what I was busy in. I was like launching my brand, and since the blog has taken off, alhamdulillah, so I'm working with a couple of brands and working on collabs with a couple of content creators. So it was like a lot of stuff,
a lot of things going on, and you're juggling with all of them together. But I think that's really smart, and that's how it should be these days. Because if you stick to one thing, I don't know if it's.
You get stuck.
Yeah, you get stuck, and then you start questioning yourself. Am I doing enough? Am I doing justice to what I'm doing?
It's true actually. Yesterday only I was feeling really burnt out. And I was thinking, I don't know what I'm doing with my blog. Like I was like at that point where I was like, I don't know what to post. Like what should I be talking about anymore? So I like ran this poll, and I asked my followers a few questions like, what do you guys want me talking about more? So they gave in a few suggestions, and I was like, okay, so now I have a little headway about like what I should be working more on. I made notes, and now I'm like, I need to recalibrate. I think when you're at this point, I think it happens with almost any content creator. I'm sure you must have had that point where you're just like,
tell me about it.
What to post, like, because for me, and I'm sure even I've seen the TCPKs, like you guys like don't join the bandwagon. Like you're not like some current you want to do it. You do something that you want to do. Exactly. So when you're that kind of a content creator, it's very hard for you to just be like, okay, if everyone's talking about so and so, XYZ, I'm going to do the same.
It's difficult to think about creative and unique stuff all the time. Sometimes you run out of content, sometimes you run out of ideas. So you don't know what to post now, like what to do actually in life.
Yeah, exactly. And when you have an idea, you have to back it up with so much research and work and input and everything. So whatever happens behind the scenes, I think our followers and our audiences rarely get to see the behind the scenes. That's very hard to explain to them when you're saying, I don't know what to post. You're not just like, oh, I don't know what to like take a picture of. It's like, I don't know what to talk about.
Not for that.
So that's.
I think what we post or what we talk about has to have some substance behind it. It has to have some meaning or value behind it, and something people or followers can learn from. So, which is why it's even harder for us to come up with something really creative, really meaningful each time we want to post.
Exactly.
We want to give some real meaning.
And we like to create like good quality content. Like we just don't want to settle on like I just took a picture of this and I'm just gonna like write something underneath and that's it. Like for us it's like I read a couple of TCPK blog posts and
you did?
Yeah, and they're so well informed and there's so much like that goes into the research and
that's the first thing when I sit with my team, my sub editors and my journalists, that's the first thing I tell them. That whatever we are doing, either it's posting, shooting, creating content, writing, it should have some sort of education and some meaning to it.
It should add value.
It should add value. It should disseminate some sort of fashion information, some fashion knowledge. It should feel like we are in a fashion school because you are giving them something. It should feel like a chit chat or some juvenile writing.
Exactly.
So that's very important. But what I am very curious to know is that your blog's name is That Karachi Girl. So it feels like you're too obsessed with Karachi. Why is that? How did you come up with this name? I definitely like this name, but how did you come up with
it? Okay, so it's a very funny story, and the story is that so when I was starting my blog. Obviously, you try to take inspiration from places and people, and even influencers and bloggers alike. So I was going through a lot of their pages and stuff, and I was like, okay, so what kind of a name should I have? And everyone would have something really random, So I didn't know what to put, and then so I was talking to my friends, and I was like, today is the day, and I was really putting it off starting my own blog. So the day I decided to finally do it, I was like, I want my name to be a pun. So literally, there was no deep, insightful thing that I went into. It was just like, when someone sees me, I want them to go like, oh, you're that Karachi girl. So it was just like that, and I was like, well, it's very funny. So I'm gonna do it. So that's how I started off. And to be very honest, I thought I would change the name as the blog was going at some point, but it just stuck and everyone loved it so much. And
that's your identity now.
Yeah,
that Karachi, she's a Karachi, that Karachi.
Yeah, and then there's so many people, so many of my followers that I ran into at KEF, and they were like, you're that Karachi girl. And now I see it happening, like that thing that I envisioned happening. So it's really funny for me, to be very honest. And I remember I was talking to one of my ex-college professors, and she was talking about how I'm a social media influencer now, and I was like, I can't believe there's so many people that I know of, and so many followers that I have who've started their own blogs, and they've taken inspirations from my name, so they're like that, maybe the Lahori girl or that Faisabadi girl, and I've seen so many of people doing these things, and I'm like, at first I was like, why are people doing this, copying me, and then she was like, are you stupid? I'm like, why? She's like, you have influence. It means that you have influence, and there's so many people who are naming themselves that something. So yeah, my name started off as a pun. There was no deep, insightful thought that I went into it, and Karachi is my home, it's my city, I love Karachi, everything that I am is, a product of Karachi. So I think it was a very important aspect of my blog identity, because I knew that everything that I would be posting would be related to Karachi in some way or the other. So I had to. It was a part of it.
I'm so excited to see somebody run into you.
That's me. My friends and family, whoever was there when they saw it, they were like, okay, now we get it.
Now we get it. Okay, so the next question we have is, tell us a little about yourself, what you have studied, the career you have pursued earlier in ME.
So I graduated from IBA in 2017, and I was actually the first batch of social sciences from IBA.
Really?
Yeah.
What year did they start?
They started in 2013. And so they started the social sciences program, and I was actually the first one of our batch. And I graduated with a degree in masters in media and communication. Media and communications. And to be very honest, this was not what I wanted to do in my life. I actually wanted to study literature and be a novelist, and I wanted to be a writer.
How cool!
I know!
Oh my god!
And but I think that thing never kind of happened for me.
I think it did, since you're blogging, so you're writing.
Yeah, I
it
think
has
I
a lot to
found
do with your writing skills, your literature.
I think literature found me, like it never left me, because I think media for me was the closest that I could get to literature in some political way or something. So I did media, and I graduated from my BA. And then after that I was like, so I took a gap year, and I was like, maybe I should start like working on my book. And
you were writing a book?
It was like mid-process. I was like brainstorming, and I have a story in mind, and I wanted to like write it down. But then I started my blog because I wanted to be productive as well. And I think then with my blog I just got so lost into it, and I think I just like project all of my writing
energy. It took you away, it snatched you from everything you were doing, because that maybe was your real goal.
I feel like hopefully when I find the right kind of inspiration, maybe I'll start writing again. But right now I'm just like working on
the why. But I think you were doing a good job. You are exactly doing what you wanted to do. You write, you vlog, you blog, you do so many things, multiple things through one platform that you have.
I think my platform has given me a voice that I probably would not have had I made the career choice that I wanted to. Because I think with the blog, there's a lot of ownership, and there's a lot of kind of like self-reflection that you go into, because whatever you're putting in there is who you are. So I think I'm really happy and glad that this is what I chose to do instead. Like, I still want to write, and I still would love to be a novelist, but I feel like the kind of introspection that the blog has allowed me to do would probably help me become a better writer.
That's so good. So the third question is, did this blogging side feel risky to you when you were choosing a career for yourself? Like you just said, if anything, it helped you become who you are, and did help you with your introspection. But do you feel like while you were choosing this career, you were a little dubious, you were a little skeptical, your parents were not happy, your siblings were doubtful as to what she's choosing as a career?
I think as far as my parents were concerned, they've always been very supportive in any of the career choices that I or my siblings have ever made. So they're always very supportive in that sense. But for me, I was quite dubious, to be very honest, and I wasn't even sure about where this blog was going until last, I think August, September, when I was like, okay, this is what I should be doing. I actually took up another job in August, but I left that in like 2 months because I was like, I don't think I'm made for a desk job.
And that's a very good thing that you realized it instantly and you made a quick decision. A lot of people just live like a drag. They go with the flow. They don't even realize if that's their thing or not.
That's true. And I think, but I was, to be very honest, I was very dubious about this job because in Pakistan it's still in a very primary baby stage and still developing. We still have brands trying to figure out what bloggers are, what influencers are. We still have like people.
For a fact, parents cannot understand what this thing is. Like to date, I think my mother doesn't know what this whole thing is.
Yeah,
she knows it has to do with writing, website, shooting, blah blah blah. But I think the business model in itself is very complicated for people to understand.
It's very complicated. Like for me, every time I talk to someone, the one thing I get to hear the most is, oh, are you modeling?
Are you a model?
And I'm like, no,
I am not. This is the story of my life. It's like, oh no, do you think model looks like this? No.
Like, no, I'm not a model. And so, like, I think even with my own family, a lot of my relatives are like, oh, are you modeling now? Or are you like acting now? And I'm like, I'm not a model, I'm not an actor, I'm an influencer. It's different. And I think So I mean, if our own very close, related people don't understand.
So we cannot expect the masses to understand it so
Exactly.
quick.
And like South Asian mindset,
culture,
it's very hard to explain any weird career choice. So it's very easy to be like, oh, I'm a doctor, or oh, I'm a dentist. But like to tell someone, oh, I'm a blogger, I'm an influencer, people are gonna be like, is that a real job? What are you doing? And you're like, so I think for me that was kind of the hurdle that I had to cross, and I feel like I'm still in the process of like figuring out how to explain it to people. But I think now that I've made a little headway and I kind of get how this business works. So I think now I'm at that stage where I can maybe explain a little bit to people about how this thing functions. So I think now I'm in a good place.
That's a great thing. So the fourth question we have is, you wear hijab and we all see it, but what we don't see is the ulterior story behind how you want to lead your life, as to how you want to see yourself versus how people want to see you if you're wearing a hijab. So would you tell a little bit about how your hijab actually either becomes a ticket to something or an impediment to something? How does it affect your work?
I think the one thing about hijab, especially in Pakistan, is that there are a lot of stereotypes attached to being a hijabi. And so when I started blogging, this was the one thing that I felt, really needed to, get done with. Like, we need to stop, these stereotypes from affecting the lives of so many girls. Because, a lot of people assume that when you wear hijab, you can't be bold, you can't be vocal,
you can't be a blogger.
You can't talk about subjects that are very taboo. So there are a lot of things associated to hijab. People have made it such a in a very strange sort of way. They've made it such a sacred religious symbol that when you choose to do it, it kind of
you're supposed to be a very extremely modest, and do things you want to do.
And I feel like there's nothing wrong with modesty. I feel like the issue is in people's mindsets about the way modesty is symbolized and the way it is represented. So it's funny. This is 2019 has started. How many hijabi women do you see in the media?
Very few.
You can count them on your fingers, if any. There are hardly any in this Pakistan where most of the population wears hijab. Even if they don't wear abayas, they wear hijab. And we're nowhere anywhere in the media. And the thing is, when you don't represent people, you don't hear their voices. You don't hear what they want to know. It's funny. So I was actually talking to one of my followers, and she flew in from the UAE, and we had this lunch meetup, and we were talking about things, and I was like, tell me something. So we were at this very famous mall over here in Karachi, and I was like, in this entire mall, have you even seen one store that caters to hijabis? One store. She was like, no. I'm like, how many hijabis do you see walking around here? She was like, there's so many. I was like, that's exactly the thing.
Brands.
There is no brand representing hijabis. When you go to Dubai, you go to UAE, you have abaya stores, hijab stores, you have everything. You go to Turkey, you will have stores like that. They're selling really nice Western clothes, and they'll have hijabs and hijab caps and accessories for your hijab. You have all of these things. In Pakistan, in the major malls, Muslim country, nothing, no representation, zero. So that was the one thing that I feel like if people like me don't bring these things to the attention of the world, these things will not happen.
I feel like sometimes there's a lot of hypocrisy, or I don't know the best word, but there's a controversy that they usually, men and also women, want to see celebrities or influencers or somebody who's well known to be very modest. I see if somebody wears a backlash dress, some celebrity does, there is such a severe backlash. But then they, at the same time, they don't support brands that have hijab or
It's that
modest
like our
accessories.
people are very. I think with our people there's a very convoluted sense of what Pakistani ideal woman is. Like in our heads, it's like, oh, the ideal Pakistani woman wears shalwar kameez. She wears a dupatta. She is this fair-skinned, really nice homemaker. And if she works, then she only works for her family. So वो काम करके घर आएगी तो she'll have to like eventually like cook, feed the children, take care of the husband. So they have this like mindset of what
they have a mindset.
The funny thing is, girls like me don't fall into that category, and the celebrities don't fall into that category. So yes, so no one does. So when none of us do, we're just ostracized and we're demonized for it and we're trolled for it. So if I'm speaking about something, they're going to be like, where is modesty? How dare you like say something like this, like you were doing a disservice. And the exact same words they will use for some celebrity who's going to be wearing a backless dress.
A backless dress. So they are like unhappy in any situation.
Yeah.
You give
so
them
so I think this is what we need to like figure out, that these people need to get this weird stupid image that no one ever falls into out of their heads. No one woman is alike, and if you can't like force this weird symbolic identity down someone's throat. Yeah, you have to be this way. For me, I wouldn't say cricket per se, but I would say it's an opportunity for me to reach out to these marginalized group that I also fall, in the category of, because they're not being represented. There's no one listening to them or hearing them out. So I feel like when girls like me speak out, and to be very honest, when I started blogging, I had a lot of people trolling me and calling me out for being myself. Literally, like they were like, "How can you wear like pants with hijab?" And I was like, "Do you know pants is not an Islamic symbol? Women living in Western countries wear pants.
They offer their prayers in pants.
No,
they just cover their heads and they go to
a pant is a piece of cloth. It's a style, and it's just a Western style. It's not associated to religion in any way, shape, or form. It's just because where I'm living in Pakistan does not mean that a pant makes me non-religious. If I'm wearing loose pants, I'm as religious as any other woman wearing a shalwar. So I think people were like trolling me for wearing pants, for wearing Western clothes, for wearing skirts, for wearing and I wear modest clothes, so I didn't understand where this hate was
I
coming.
think it's time clothes should not be associated with any religion. People should not be judged on what they wear.
Exactly.
It's time. It's 2019.
Before I started doing hijab, I used to think maybe Western clothes are immodest and Eastern clothes are modest. So shalwar kameez is modest, pant shirts not modest. But then I started doing hijab, and I did start wearing Western clothes. I just started wearing modest Western clothes, and even then people were like, "Oh, why are you still wearing Western clothes?" And I was like, "But they're modest." So I don't understand the link and the correlation, and I think a lot of people, just eat this cultural stuff up, and they don't really rationalize it in their heads. So in that sense, I feel like for me, I even made a blog post about about how girls like me get ostracized and demonized and trolled for being ourselves, even though girls like me exist in numbers. And I don't understand why we have to be the flag bearers of religion. I mean, just because we are performing a religious duty does not mean that I am, now, accountable for someone else's deeds. Because like if I am doing something, that's for me, like you're doing something, that's for you. So I think in that sense,
I think that's the dilemma with every influencer and celebrity these days. They are asked to be the flag bearer of every righteous thing in the world.
The impediment is that a lot of, because of the stereotypes associated with hijab, that this girl is very backwards, this girl is not probably as educated, probably doesn't know how to. I don't know why there's a lot of association with hijabi girls not being able to groom themselves. Like
I think with me it's the other way around because I don't observe hijab. So sometimes I'm taken toward the other side. Like I might be very open. I might be I might be drinking.
I think no one's happy with anything.
Yeah. I mean,
I think that's the general consensus.
maybe I'm partying out late night. So there are so many stereotypes that are associated with me for not taking or observing something they want me to do. So I think they're unhappy with everything, and whatever you do, they see you as a symbol of that particular field.
True.
So if you're doing hijab, you're supposed to be very righteous in your deeds and the best person in Islam. Or if I'm not taking it, then I'm on the other side.
I always say this to my followers: please stop judging people by their appearances. Someone who's observing hijab or even niqab may not be as good as someone who's not and is closer to God. You don't know how God is seeing these people.
That's very nice of you to say that.
Because I don't like, a lot of people are like, oh, you should like tell so and so person to stop. I'm like, why? I mean, it's not my job. Obviously, maybe as a Muslim, yeah, it's my duty to invite people to my religion. But inviting people does not mean that I kind of like troll them or be mean to them. I mean, in our religion talks about being
respecting the diversity and plurality that exists in
it's your
society.
manners, it's your kindness, it's the way you talk to people that invites them to you.
And actions speak louder than words.
Exactly.
So how you behave, how tolerant you are toward different religions, toward different languages, different sort of mindset, shows a lot about how better a person you are.
Exactly, and I think these things need to start being there in the base.
The values need to be there.
These values need to be put out there.
Yeah.
Instead of people just having this stupid assumption, and I feel like a lot of this is related to how our mainstream media cashes on these things. And I feel like people like us, influencers, small-time influencers, big-time influencers.
Do you believe your role as a Hijaabi influencer is changing something deep down beneath the surface as to how women should be accepted by both men and women, with or without hijab, with or without infirmity?
I think maybe to a certain extent it is. And to be very honest, I didn't understand my influence and the impact that my blog was making till I had people reach out to me and tell me that it is. I've had friends whose relatives have been reaching out to them, being like, oh, your friend who's blogging, we can't believe that she's talking about these things, and it makes so much sense to us. So I feel like in that sense I feel a lot more responsibility on my shoulders, but at the same time I feel really glad that I'm able to represent this group of people. Even though when I started off, I never ever started with this mindset, but over time you do get associated to these things, and I'm really happy to be able to represent these women. Just because getting ourselves represented means that we are being validated. So I think deep down inside, to a certain extent, I feel like I'm even doing myself a service, because when I meet people, when I meet strangers, when I'm able to kind of get that stereotype or this preconceived notion out of their heads, it kind of makes me feel good, because there's so many girls out there who are always messaging me. And you have no clue, Sarah, I've had so many girls message me saying, I never wanted to say this out loud, but I always wanted to try hijab, but I always stopped and I stopped doing it. Or if someone was doing it, they stopped because she was like, hey,
I didn't have enough guts.
I didn't have guts, or they're like people who are not accepting of it, or there are people who have certain stereotypes attached that, oh, if you start doing hijab, you can't do this or you can't do that. And I was like, listen, stop letting people, kind of
impose status on you.
Just be yourself and do whatever you think is right. And obviously, when you are taking up this responsibility, you're going to be, very sensible about it.
So you need to have a clarity in mind as to why you're doing it, for yourself or for others.
Exactly. So for me, I'm doing this hijab for myself. I'm doing this, and for me it's a very intimate thing, because this is something that I'm doing for the love of God. And I don't like to explain it to people. I don't like to tell people unless someone genuinely wants to know. I don't like to go out and kind of
you don't do kindness and justify why I did kindness. You don't help a beggar or a poor and then justify to others, this is why I did it.
Yeah.
So I think it's much like this. Whatever you're doing is your conscience.
Exactly.
Your
So in that sense, I feel like, and I feel like a lot of it has been associated to and kind of like related to representation. And I feel like we really evaluate, but we really need to start putting this representation aspect on a pedestal, because if we don't stop doing that, if we don't get to that point, we will still have these stupid stereotypes attached to people like us. So I feel like in that sense, yes, I do feel like I've made an impact, and maybe even under the surface to a certain extent.
So how wild do you think is the engagement game for you in getting more engagements, more comments? And do you feel like there's a certain pressure on your followers or in general for them to come and comment or create engagement, and does that make them mentally pushed or stressed?
I think I can't speak for other influencers, but for my own blog, I feel like I've created a very safe environment for my followers. I don't think there has ever been a moment where I've gone on a very furious rant about them not engaging with me or not talking to me, because I actually really enjoy talking to them, and I really enjoy engaging with them. Maybe I do get upset if they're not engaging in a way that is more intellectual, I would say. Like if I'm posting my opinion about something, I would want to hear their opinions. I would want to do what they have to say instead of just being like, oh, this is a nice picture, or you're looking
gorgeous, and all that.
Like, I mean, obviously, who doesn't love a good compliment? But sometimes you just want to engage with people and you just want to talk to people, and so I
Tell
really
me about it.
Yeah.
I think that's a dilemma with me too, because I'm putting some really hardcore fashion stuff, and all they're saying is like, you look very pretty, but there's like a lot beyond
Pretty,
being
like-
again pretty.
Yeah, okay, and what else? What did you think about my caption? So for me, I think engagement in that sense is what kind of like bothers me. It's not the numbers; it's the kind of input you get. It's the kind of quality you get, because as a blogger, when you're creating content, you're creating it for them.
For that.
So, and if I don't get input from them, how would I know what works and what doesn't? And
They want to know.
Exactly. And at the same time, when you're working so hard on something, you want that kind of validation and appreciation. And you want that kind of thing where people are going through your stuff and giving you feedback and letting you know whether it worked for them or if it didn't work for them, or how you could improve yourself. So I think in that sense, engagement matters to me, because if I am putting in effort, then I would expect that the person who is behind the screen reading and going through my stuff also
At least gives a feedback or some sort of
Exactly.
appreciation, validation.
Exactly.
What's the one thing you wish your followers were doing apart from engaging on your post? What's that one intellectual side you would want to see more?
I think the one thing that I would really want to see from my followers would be for them to put in more effort. And by effort, I mean, as bloggers, as content creators, we put in a lot of effort in trying to make things convenient for our readers.
them.
We try to make sure that the links are posted.
We connect every post
Yeah.
with the links.
We tag the right people. We make sure we put all the details in the captions, and if we're making a post, we make sure to link it. So I feel like I wish our followers would put in a little more effort. So if you've already have put something out there on your space, then maybe they should first go through it and see.
At least give it one read, one tap.
Yeah, just give it one read, or make that extra effort before they just message you saying where is this thing, because sometimes it kind of hurts our sentiments too, because then we know that they're not reading.
They're not paying attention to your content.
Yeah.
They're just taking you for granted.
Yeah.
You're posting some really intellectual stuff out there, and all they have to say is like, you look good, you look
Yeah.
pretty.
So I feel like that thing I wish they would and it's not it's not a very big thing to ask for, but these are the small things that matter to us, because and it's not like all followers do it. A lot of them are so kind and generous that sometimes they're gonna go out of their way to support you, and those followers mean a lot to me. And I'm not kind of demonizing the ones who don't, but sometimes I feel like that little bit of effort, because for for them it's like just another day of like just scrolling, or maybe like seeing one of their favorite bloggers post something, and maybe they don't feel like putting in the effort and all. But for us, that matters. That one click, that one comment, that one share, those things matter. So I think just put in, if you care for the content creator, then just put in a little bit more effort.
Okay. So the last question, which is very close to me, is what do you like about TCPK? What do you think about TCPK, Jim?
To be honest, I think TCPK is amazing. I think
Yay!
I think there's so many blogs out there that I've seen, but this is one blog that I can kind of rely on to be providing quality content. Like, I love how all of the posts are so well researched, so well thought out, well planned, well executed. The photography, everything. Like, when you had reached out to me earlier, I was supremely excited to work with you and collab with you.
Oh my God, likewise.
Yeah, because I and I remember.
And listening to all of this having this from you is such a good feeling.
And having you reach out to me, so I feel like I remember when we met and we had this conversation. The first time we had this meeting, and I told you that when you meet like-minded people, and when you meet people who are working and who have the same kind of like vision as you,
practice.
It's a lot of like, you feel really excited. You're like, okay, finally, like someone gets me. So I think TCPK for me is one of those blogs that is up there for me, because you guys are really killing it.
Moving on to the round that me and my team have meticulously worked upon. It's a rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you 15 questions, of which you have to give answer rapidly. Okay. So, first question: pants or skirt?
Pants.
Makeup or no makeup?
Makeup.
Pizza or biryani?
Pizza.
Blog or vlog?
Vlog.
Shah Rukh Khan or Fawad Khan?
Fawad.
I thought you would go for Shah Rukh Khan.
I love Shah Rukh Khan, but like my childhood Shah Rukh Khan, like the 90s Shah
This is the answer that I gave to myself. And if I'm asked this question, I would say Shah Rukh Khan's past and Fawad Khan's present.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so Hollywood or Bollywood?
Hollywood.
I would go for Bollywood.
Bollywood is like, it's getting there, but like it'll take me time to choose.
Man crush or girl crush?
Man crush.
Why not girl crush?
Because I don't have many girl crushes.
Okay, मैंने प्यार किया और दिलवाले दुल्हनिया ले जाएंगे.
Dilwale Dulhania.
Both. Love marriage or arranged marriage?
Arranged marriage.
Oh my God, why?
I'm a realist. I don't believe in love.
You don't believe you have never fallen in love?
I have.
You're not
which
dating
is why I don't believe.
Are you dating out? Your followers might need to know if you're dating out.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
And I don't.
my
I feel
God,
like-
you have given hopes to so many guys out there. Trust
Oh
me. Okay, cricket or football?
Football.
Okay, you just attended the football launch 3
Yeah.
days ago.
That's true.
Okay, Ronaldo or Messi?
Messi.
Messi, sorry. Bilal Abbas or Ahad Raza Mir?
Ooh.
Oh my God, difficult question.
I think Bilal Abbas.
Bilal Abbas. Hardy or 70s?
Ooh.
Hardy or do you have like a romantic notion of on the 70s with someone?
No,
If you're not choosing Hardy.
Okay, hard.
Okay, one beauty tip.
One beauty tip: drink a lot of water and never skip concealer.
Wow. If you are stranded on an island, what 3 items would you take with you?
My phone.
Don't tell me it's underwear.
Food. My phone. And probably someone who can save me.
Okay, so the food, phone, and rescuer, which means everything.
Yeah, everything.
Everything. So that was it. So with this we end our session. You haven't eaten anything, but I hope
You were very generous in offering, but I'm just like,
I'm gonna pack this for you in a tiffin and you can take it along.
I think we should have you guys like comment and let us know what you think, or if you have any other questions that maybe occurred during this conversation that you would like for us to answer, and we could definitely
we could do another session where we can go live, or maybe just
maybe
take
even
notes
have
of your
more
points.
bloggers in and
Yeah, that would be so fun, and I think that would be like a better representation of what the blogging side is. The more the merrier, and
Yeah, and
the
you
more
know-
information you have, the more you would know, how each blogger, the way they think.
And now that we're like, since we are speaking up about transparency, I think giving our side would be a very big insight into how this happens behind the scenes and what we feel and think, and I think that's very important.
That's why
Put it out there.
So it was a lovely time having you,
Thank you so
Alina.
much
I
for
really
having
love
me.
what you're wearing.
Thank you.
She's wearing her own brand, Mode by Alina, and we're wearing something else too. One more.
Yeah, we're wearing like our glowy shoes.
Can we have the lights turned off, please? So guys, Alina is wearing Mood by Alina, her own brand. You can check that Instagram account. It's an incredible Insta. I think we needed some music.
Yeah.
We need some music.
You can have that in the editing, right?
Yeah. So with this, we end our chat, and I hope our followers have got